So, I'd like to start off addressing the Black Lives Matter movement. I really encourage you to get involved in whatever way you can that fits what you have going on right now. I know a lot of people are in quarantine and maybe don't feel comfortable going to things like protests, but there are things that you can do to support this movement, and help the world be where it should have always been, but unfortunately wasn't. I would encourage you to donate if you can. Sign petitions, that's free. If you're not signing petitions, please do. It's so important. There are even ways that you can donate without spending your own money. YouTube is a really cool place because people have posted videos that are literally there for you to watch so that the ad revenue from that video can go towards supporting Black Lives Matter. The only problem with this is, personally, I've been keeping on my computer like a tab open, so whenever I use my computer, that I can just click play and go back every hour or so and replay it so that they continue to get money for it. But YouTube has tagged these videos a lot as violating their standards or violating something. I may not be using the right words there, but basically violating their rules and regulations for YouTube. So they've been taking them down, which is a big bummer, but other people have posted videos that are just like their normal everyday videos and then contributing that money towards Black Lives Matter. So I only know of 2 right now, but I will link those in the description, as well as places to donate, sign petitions, places to educate, all that good stuff. So yeah. Let's get into the video. So, welcome to my new segment called Escapisms of the Month. Who wants to be in the real world? Not me. Escapisms of the Month is 100% inspired by Christine from Pole and Bananas books. She does this little segment called Stories I Ate This Month, and it's where she shares all the shows, movies, books, whatever, anything that she's consumed that's considered like art, and talks about them, talks about what she likes, and I really like that, and I'm very passionate about movies. I always have been. I remember growing up, my mom would always be like, why do you care so much? And I'm like, how can you not care so much? My mom's watching something. I think it's one of those dating things, like 90 Day Fiance or Love at First Sight. We can't all have good taste. No, I'm just kidding. Because I've been making lists of movies for like 4 months now, I'm just gonna collect the ones that I really want to talk about. And then from this point forward, they will be straight like everything I consumed that month. Jungle Book, which I watched with my dad, loved it as a little kid, so I was super excited to rewatch it. And then we watched it and I was like, this movie is not that good. Besides like the bare necessities, like the rest of the movie, and I was like, I remember liking the live action movie though. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but it's been a while since I saw it, but I did see it in theaters when it did come out. Super disappointed in this movie. The plot, couldn't find it. And that's just the truth. Like, it's very thin, and like I feel like this movie could have been 30 minutes long. Like we didn't need it to be this big thing. Do bare necessities and do the plot in 30 minutes and you would have been good to go. Granted, this is a very old movie, so I feel like the pacing was a little different back in the day. 3 stars just for the fact of bare necessity. Like, bare necessities gets 3 stars, like not the movie. Next is All the Bright Places, And I knew that this was a book, but I have not read the book. And I had no idea what it was about. And my dad clicks on it and is like, you wanna watch this? And I'm like, sure, what's the worst that could happen? Everything. This movie ripped out my heart, handed it to me, and then wanted me to say thank you. And then I did. Like, it was so moving and powerful and well done. The script, the acting, I really liked the acting. It was so sad. It was so sad. I gotta stop thinking about it. We can't spiral right now. Lots of trigger warnings for this one. We have depression, suicidal thoughts, eating disorders, self-harm, question mark. It's been a little while since I saw the movie, but a lot of trigger warnings. So if you are someone who needs to be aware of those things, please look those up before you watch this movie. Take care of yourselves. Yeah, 5 stars. So sad. So sad. And it has a little bit of a like happy thing at the end. And I don't know if I'd say happy. I'd say hope for the future at the end, so it doesn't leave you like wanting to die. I actually got to participate in my first readathon ever. I did the Reading Rush quarantine version. It was like the little shorter version that they did during when everyone was quarantined. I know a lot of people aren't now. But I had such a good time, and the little photo challenges were so much fun, and it was a real good time. I read City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, and I really loved this book. This is the first one of her books that I've read. I've been wanting to read A Darker Shade of Magic for a very long time because I hear such good things about it, but I haven't read them yet. This was actually an arc from BookCon a little while ago, and I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. I would think I was one of the people who got it signed, which was a really fun experience. Super nice lady. Anyway, the book. I love how Victoria Schwab explains ghosts in this world and how that works. I think a lot of times in books it can be a very like unexplained thing happening, but it's very concrete in this book, and I feel like you always kind of know what's going on. Next movie I want to talk about is Ice Age. It does not matter how many times I watch this movie. It is so funny, like has me on the floor laughing every single time, without fail. Doesn't anybody care about Sid the Sloth? I mean, who? And Scrap, his little nails. He's like this rabid, scrawny squirrel. And it's so funny. It doesn't stop being funny. The scene that gets me every time, the last melon. It's just, listen, I'm a giant child, so Ice Age is my happy place. I tried and failed to watch Outlander. It's so good. It's such a good show, and I know it, and I can tell. I made it like 4 episodes in. I personally couldn't handle the sexual assault in this show. I know there's some people think it's like, well, that's how it was. It's like, there's a way to portray what happened without vividly showing us and being so aggressive about it. I couldn't do it. It got to the point where I was thinking about it when I would go and get groceries, when I would leave the house to put gas in the car, and it would just like, I would just like think about it and it just caused me too much anxiety, and I had to put it away. But if you are someone that you know your limits and you know that you can handle things like that, definitely I do recommend it. Like, it's a good, well-written show. Next up is Onward. It's so good. It's so good. And I'm so upset that COVID happened like right when it got in theaters. And I was like, I just really want people to see and love this movie. It's so great. It's really rooted in family, and it has a fantastic representation of brothers and siblings and how that love is complicated. A lot of times sibling relationships are very underrated in books, movies, TV shows. Like, there's gotta be more. We need them. I keep making shadows in my face and I'm sorry, but we need them, because it's so interesting, because you're ready, as a sibling, you're ready to throw hands if they like eat the last cookie or something, but at the same time, you would die for them. I have a brother who's 6 years older than me, and when I tell you, he's lucky to be alive, but I would die for him. And that's just the way it is. Love my brother, but you know, if you're a sister and you have a brother, you know. I was lucky. I got a really very good brother. Maybe I'll bring him on here one of these days to make a video with me. None of my family knows about my channel yet, which is interesting. So I'd have to actually tell them about it. Oh, if you couldn't tell, Onward gets 5 freaking stars from me, Chief. Next, I want to talk about the newest Charlie's Angels. It's one of those movies where you watch and you're like, you know, I'm having a good time, but is this a good movie? Debatable. I loved the relationships between the girls, and I especially loved just seeing Kristen Stewart be Kristen Stewart. Like, I feel like she wasn't even a character. She was just like 100% herself, and it was really fun to watch. But solely for that reason, I gave it 3 stars. I'm consistently let down with women heist, we're gonna get the bad guys movies. They let me down. There were some good stunts, which you can tell were really well thought out and cool, but the plot was so bad. Did you hear that? The plot was so bad. It's just disappointing, because you see the talent there and you see the relationships there. Then it's like, but where's the plot though? I don't see it. And it's the same thing with the women's Oceans movie. Like, you're telling me the best you could come up with is that a bunch of women have to steal a piece of jewelry? That's what you're gonna serve to me right now? I've had enough. It was stupid. The plot was stupid. And the thing with the Oceans movies, I know this isn't technically what we're supposed to be talking about, but we're going to talk about it anyway. But all the other men's Oceans movies, so good. Well thought out, plot, heist plan, great action, fantastic. And then with women, the best thing that they can come up is just steal a necklace. No. Anyway, next we're gonna talk about Frozen 2. So good. I love this movie with all that I am. And every cell in my body loves this movie. The soundtrack slaps. Now, after seeing this movie, an obscene amount of times, I realized that there are quite a few issues with the plot, which I didn't notice the first couple times that I watched it until I started asking questions and not just like sobbing and being dramatic. Frozen 2 gets 5 stars from me. It affected me so deeply. I think because I still am, in a place in my life where it's like, okay, what are you gonna do next? Into the unknown. You're an adult now, time to get your life together. And I'm like, not even packed yet. I will carry this soundtrack with me forever. Still a frequent listen on Spotify. So if you love yourself, go look it up. Next up is The Mandalorian, which was such a fun, exciting show. I was really surprised. I know everybody was freaking out about Baby Yoda because love that guy, but I wasn't really so sure how I was gonna like the actual story, the plot, etc. I loved it. There were a few episodes. There were like 1 or 2 where I was like, this is a little weird. Not really liking the vibes here, but overall a very great and entertaining show. Definitely if you hated the last official Star Wars movie. Since I loved The Mandalorian so much, but there were 1 or 2 episodes where I was like, not sure, I gave it 4 stars. So solid show, definitely worth a watch. The next book I read was Scythe, which was so thought-provoking and really makes you think about things that you've never thought of before. This book is very plot-based and not so much character-based, which I don't care for. I love character-based stories so much. Like, a plot is obviously very important, but if I don't fall in love with the characters to the point that I want to die, then I don't want it, you know? So if you're a plot-based person and not a character-based person, I would definitely recommend this book for you. I think you'd definitely love it. Such interesting concepts on death and the world and the difference between right and wrong and the gray areas within that. Like, I don't know, very thought-provoking, but not character-based. So it gets 4 stars from me. Next up is Moana, which is such a joy to watch. I feel like whenever I watch this movie, I end up in a better mood, which is something that is really beautiful about a movie. The animation, jaw-dropping, the music, heart-swooning, like, those 2 aspects deserve a medal. What doesn't deserve a medal is the plot. Here I am dissing a plot again. It was just so weak. Like, you're telling me with all the history of Polynesian culture and people that's the best you could come up with? Really think about it before you cancel me. Really think about it, because what was it? My friend and I were talking about this over a video call because I was just so heated up about it, because it just, you could see the seeds of potential there, but it was just like, it needed one more draft, just another draft that someone needed to look at before they said, let's put this on the big screen. Like, just, I mean, like when they're, okay, can't speak, when they're like on their journey, Moana and Maui, they have the heart of Tafiti, and they're like on the boat, they're rowing, and a ship attacks them, and you're like, oh, conflict, cool. And it's like these weird coconut morphed alien people, and you're like, is that the best we could come up with? I mean, was there no one to workshop this? Who did that get? I want to know who it got past to be like, that's great. Well done, good job. No. it really takes you out of the movie, because the animation and it's just so exquisite that to do something as simple as a morphed coconut being like, it's like, they're just like little like screaming brown blobs, and I'm like, why did we do that? And then we get Shannon, which literally takes you on a whole acid trip, whether or not you've actually done acid or not. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I'm saying it. That song is so long. You're like, oh, thank God it's over. And then there's another verse. There's another one. It's not freaking over yet. Shannon. I hate it. Another subpar, like, it's better. The coconuts are like down here, but this one's like barely above it. Like, at least it's a sea creature and it's like real, but it barely. The bare minimum. What are you doing? I'm getting too heated about this, but it's just like, I don't know. And then at the end of his song, he's like, they'd steal back the heart of Tafiti, and he's like, but did you like the song? You're supposed to be a villain. Would you be quiet, please? Like, I think maybe that was one of the big problems. There was never a real threat. Like, you really knew that it was always going to be okay. And I feel like the really good movies with the really good plots, even if it's a Disney movie, has you thinking, oh God, what now? Like, what are you gonna do? This is really bad. And that point never happened. Like, even when Maui left, you knew he was gonna come back. Like, he didn't even leave for a good reason. He was like, I'm frustrated. And then was like, I'm leaving because I'm 5 years old, and just leaves. And then comes right back. And I'm like, for what? Why? Okay, I'm done. Anyways, 4 stars for Moana. Love the music, love the animation, love the representation. On those things, perfection. Plot, and that's just the facts. The last thing I want to talk about today, are you ready? Little Women. Immaculate, fantastic, best movie I have ever laid eyes on in my entire life. 23 years of living, this is the best movie I have ever seen. I watch a lot of movies. The best movie I have ever seen. Like, low-key kind of changed my life a little bit. You could really tell the love and thought and effort and details that went into this film. Like, you can just feel it. It's rooted in just the truth of how life was back then. So many amazing and important themes that will never not be relevant. I think with each generation of women that these will always be relevant to that. So I think that she just, a beautiful job. My favorite character is Joe, which isn't a very, that's not an unpopular opinion at all. But just to see someone like that represented in a movie, it's just so rare. And I feel like I appreciate so much the emphasis on whatever you choose to do with your life that doesn't make your choices or your life any more or less important than someone else's. And I feel like a lot of times as women nowadays, we're all like, you know, like, get that degree, go out and work hard, get a job, this and that, which I'm a part of that group. But then there are other girls who they're like, that's not really for me. Just because you want to be married and have babies and be a stay-at-home mom, that doesn't make your life or what you do any less important. Being a mom is gonna be the most important job ever. but it's not for everyone. And I feel like a lot of times we're like, yeah, feminism, like get out there and like take over the world, which is great, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. But that also doesn't make the women who still want to get married and have babies and be a stay-at-home mom and wife any less valid and still important and valuable. And I feel like it doesn't have to be a hot or cold or either or thing. I think we should just respect what everyone wants for their future. And I think that if we can get that, we'll be going somewhere good. Where I got access to all of these movies will be also in the description if you want to go and watch it yourself. They might be on Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. Well, that is all that I have for you today. Please don't forget to check out the Black Lives Matter information and links in the description. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the bell icons if you want to see more of me. If you've seen any amazing movies recently on any of the streaming sites, please let me know what they are in the description, or books or shows or whatever, anything that you've become really passionate about lately. I would love to check those out and talk with you in the comments. So, bye-bye.